At this point, we're about a month and a half into the build. Most recently, we just roughed in the wiring, which we had someone help us with that. I started roughing in the plumbing. We've installed all the windows. We built our utility shed off the front. Both of our lofts are in place. So, at times the progress has seemed a little slow, but I think overall we're doing pretty good. So, for a month and a half, looks like something, I guess.
You tell me what you're doing.
I am making a shed to go on the front of the tiny house. It's going to sit on the tongue. And it's going to hold our electrical panel and our on-demand hot water heater. Maybe some propane tanks. We decided to install a little shed on the front of the house. It has a little bump out here for our bathroom sink. So the vanity and sink and then the little window are actually going to be built into that. And it's sectioned off, so this side actually has our electric panel is inside there, which I still need to make doors for this, but for now I just have the Tyvek over it so it doesn't rain inside of there. It's also got a compartment down here. It's going to be for batteries, and then a compartment on the other side, which is going to be for the propane. Oh yeah, and the hot water heater. It's going to be in the other corner. So, sort of our little utility shed.
Looking toward the utility shed from inside the house, we've got the only interior walls that we're going to have framed for the bathroom. And we use 2x3s instead of 2x4s just to save a little bit of weight and space there. And then in the bathroom, on one side we'll have our shower, on the other side will be the composting toilet. So the bump out of our vanity will be right here. And then inside these walls on either side, we'll put, the propane tank and everything that we don't want to see but can still access from the outside. So we just picked up our siding. We decided to go with pine after doing some research. So it saved us some money over cedar.
We bought 14 and 16-foot lengths of beveled pine siding and applied a gray stain and sealer in one on both sides before nailing it up.
To prepare for the siding, I am fitting the trim boards on the corners, around the windows, and also filling in up underneath the soffits. These are all cedar, so we did get cedar for this part. We just put up the first row of siding, which is important to get that one nice and level to start out with. Then we have these little jigs to use from there on. We still check level every once in a while afterwards to make sure things aren't getting out of whack. Mostly goes up pretty quick and easy, except for around the fenders. Takes a little bit of work, but now we have a pattern from the stuff we cut out yesterday, so it should go pretty fast. Made these little jigs to use. They butt up under here. That way we don't have to measure for each row that we're putting up for the siding. We can just set them on top of here. Quick and easy, and it's in the right place. So inside, the rough wiring is done. Really the tiny house is wired pretty much like a standard house. We have our electrical panel here. Feed power into that. We have an RV extension cord, which we'll use this if we stay in any RV parks or we have it parked anywhere long term. You also have these couple different adapters to plug into either 30 amp or 15 amp service depending on where we are. The panel is fed off this with 50 amp service. What else is different? We will have some things that are going to run on just 12 volt. So we're going to have some batteries down here probably. Eventually a solar panel. Some things like our water pump and some LED lighting are going to run just off 12 volt all the time. So when the house is off the grid, we'll still have power with that. So we're setting up the house, so it should be able to, we'll be able to use it pretty much anywhere. We'll be able to have it off the grid for a couple weeks, hopefully, with the batteries. And then also just plugged in for more long-term use. Electrical is one of the things that we weren't very confident in doing ourselves. So we had kind of a friend who is an electrician come over and help us out with rough wiring everything in. Once we get the insulation and the interior walls up, then he's going to come back out and help us put in the outlets and lights and fixtures and all that good stuff. Also, before we insulate, we need to finish the just rough plumbing, which we're running PEX through some of the walls. So I'm in, I guess you'd call it the back of the tiny house, the side away from the tongue. Planning on putting the water tank underneath a kind of fixed couch settee thing here. The thought behind doing that was we had that shed that we added onto the front, which adds quite a bit of weight onto the tongue. So to balance out some of the extra tongue weight, we thought we could put the water tank back here, and then depending on how full it is, hopefully balance out the weight of the trailer a little better. So yeah, we'll see how that works. Do have to run the water a little further that way, but shouldn't be a big deal.
We're still slowly plugging away at the siding and did not quite meet our goal of finishing the outside of the house before it started snowing. The next step is to spray in foam insulation as soon as the plumbing and 12-volt wiring are roughed in. Then we can get started on all the fun stuff and stay warm while working on the inside.